Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, it's not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Cost of Moving Without Seeing. Here we go. There's a leadership trap that rarely gets named. It's not burnout, and it is not poor strategy. It is pace without pause. It is the quiet, compounding cost of moving through your leadership responsibilities too fast to ever really see what you are creating. Margaret Wheatley, the organizational theorist and leadership scholar, named it clearly. She wrote, "Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences." Blindly on our way, not recklessly, not incompetently, blindly. Meaning, we may be working hard, moving fast, hitting targets, and still have no real awareness of the patterns we are setting in motion. That is a sobering image for anyone who leads people. Here's what I've seen in practice. Leaders who operate in relentless execution mode often mistake activity for alignment. They are responsive, busy, decisive. But when you sit down with them and trace the arc of their decisions over 6 or 12 months, what you often find is drift. They moved quickly through decision after decision, each one reasonable in isolation, but the cumulative effect created outcomes that nobody intended. A culture that became more cautious, a team that stopped raising concerns, a strategy that quietly shifted from bold to reactive. Nobody chose those outcomes. They accumulated in the absence of reflection. The common misread of Wheatley's idea is that she is asking us to slow down. I don't think that's quite right. She's asking us to see, and there's a meaningful difference. Reflection is not about pace. It is about perception. You can move fast and still carry a reflective practice. What you cannot do is move fast and assume that awareness comes automatically. It doesn't. Awareness is built. It requires intentional moments to step outside the current of your own work and ask, what is this actually producing? The reframe I would offer is this. Reflection is not a recovery activity. It is not what you do when things go wrong. It is a leadership skill, and like any skill, it produces results. Leaders who build reflection into their practice do not just feel better, they make fewer expensive mistakes. They notice emerging problems earlier. They adapt with more accuracy. They lead with a quality of presence that people around them can feel, even if they cannot name it. Here's the question I want you to carry forward, not as a journal prompt, but as a genuine inquiry. In the last 90 days, what have you created that you did not intend to? Not what went wrong, but what emerged that surprised you, disappointed you, or caused friction you cannot fully explain. That gap between what you intended and what you produced is not a failure of effort. It is almost always a signal that somewhere in the chain of decisions, reflection was absent. The great leaders I've known and the ones I admire most in the historical record share something important. They act with conviction and they pause with discipline. They treat the review, the debrief, the quiet morning hour with their own thinking as non-negotiable. Not because they're uncertain, because they understand that certainty without reflection is just confident blindness. Wheatley gave us a gift with this sentence, not a warning so much as an invitation to lead with open eyes, to move through the complexity of your role with enough awareness to see what you are actually building, not just what you intended to build. That is clarity, and that is what separates the leaders who leave things better from those who simply leave things behind.